Husker Rewind.
Welcome to the circus.
Harris went out deep right sideline. 50-50 ball. It's picked off. The black shirts with a dagger. Malcolm Hartzog with a giant pick sails the night for the Big Red. We're done. Huskers win. Golly, grandkids.
They got a storm on the floor. Love it. Say your name, Fred Hoiberg. There's your signature win.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers have run the table and run it back. Back-to-back Big Ten tournament champions.
Here's Tom Stevens and Mike Melby on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
Tim Winningham will make us wait one more. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now on Caden Fromel. Katsky comes set again. The pitch. Called strike 3. And a Texas-sized response for the Big Red to salvage the weekend here at the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. And a statement over the 16th-ranked Florida State Seminoles. Huskers win it 10-1.
Nick Hanley on the call with Kyle Crooks today as Nebraska gets a big win this weekend over Florida State. Failed against Louisville on Thursday, dropping 5-3 after having a lead in that game, or 4-2 in that game, and then 5-3 last night against Kansas State before winning today. What a big win. Nebraska starts the season 3-0. They hadn't done that since 2005. And then they lose 3 in a row, and you're thinking, oh no, another Texas, Arizona, California swoon, which happens sometimes for Husker baseball. They're one of the, northern teams just don't get outside like the teams from the West and the South. But man, what a win today over 16th ranked Florida State. And we'll find out how real Nebraska is. They've got 3 games against number 9 Auburn next weekend.
At Auburn. And I mean, 2-1, and you're singing the praises and talking about what it can happen this year and CWS and et cetera. And if they go 0-3, then you're like, well, they were like a top 10 team, and that's what was expected. But
Gavin Blackowitz, nice game today. 5 innings of 1 hit ball. He gave up 1 hit, which was a home run, but 6 Ks. Colin Novacek looked good out of the bullpen. You just heard Cooper Katsky, who was the MAC pitcher of the year. He's supposed to be their big gun. Their ace for Nebraska was sick opening weekend, so I think this was his first appearance in a Husker uniform. Pitched in relief, came out of the pen, looked good. Nebraska almost run-ruled a number 16 Florida State. Dylan Carey comes back for another year at Nebraska. He looked great today, 5 RBI. So this is a nice start. I know at 4-3, you're thinking that's not a very good start. What are you talking about? Well, the competition has been really good. Louisville, a top 15 team. They probably could have won that game. Kansas State, I think, is 6-1 already on the year. This could be a pretty good baseball team, and they haven't gotten blown out by anybody. I mean, nobody has done to Nebraska what Nebraska did to Florida State. Even Stanford, which got a lot of runs, Nebraska came back and almost won that game against Stanford last week.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's way early in the season, but that was a nice win. They're not playing like the Nebraska softball team, though. The Nebraska softball team is absolutely in fuego. They already have 2 wins versus number 1 ranked teams, 2 different teams ranked number 1 at different times. Number 1, Texas. They beat those guys. They beat Texas Tech when they were ranked number 1. I think Texas Tech is still number 1, but Nebraska is now 11-4, and they were at the Mary Nutter Classic Invitational this weekend and went undefeated, beat Cal and Seattle this weekend, went undefeated for the weekend. So Nebraska softball off to a great start. They're probably the best story so far of the winter season.
Well, spring season.
Well,
winter season.
It's not
men's basketball.
It's the winter / spring. Spring isn't here yet. So, but you're right. It's the spring season.
7 in a row for the softball team. They knock off in the Mary Nutter Classic. South Carolina 9-1, Hawaii 13 rip. A&M, Texas A&M, they won 8-2, 9-0 over Seattle, 6-0 earlier today over California. So they've got it squared away. Like you said, a couple of wins against number one teams. That doesn't happen very often in program history. As a matter of fact, it's only happened twice this year. So there you go. Husker men's basketball. Hey, by the way, women's basketball had lost 6 in a row.
That was a good win
finally
today.
get off the schneid.
They're still teetering. They're right on the edge of the NCAA.
They got to start winning.
Yeah, because they're only 6-11 in the league, and they don't have a lot of quad wins.
No, Britt Prince with a step back 3 with 7 seconds to go. Washington actually had 3 opportunities to win the game in the last 7 seconds, and they missed every one of the shots. So Nebraska holds on, snaps the 6-game losing streak. Men's basketball yesterday, 87-64 over Penn State. Couple of nervous type things. The biggest one is Jamarcus Lawrence and the ankle. It appears, based on Fred Hoiberg's comments, that it is hopefully relatively minor, a tweak versus anything like what Braden Frager had. By the way, welcome back to being healthy, Braden Frager. His hops are back. They seem to be missing since the ankle injury, with obvious reason because of the ankle injury. But those offensive boards that he went and got in the first half yesterday, and the way he drove to the basket with more confidence, he had a couple of those plays in the last couple of games that to me, he seemed hesitant.
Yeah.
And there was no hesitation at all.
He looked like
yesterday.
the old Braden Frager.
Yeah, he did.
In fact, Hoiberg talked about that after the game. This is Fred Hoiberg talking about Frager, and he's glad he's back.
I met with him yesterday afternoon, and I just told him, I said, I need that fearless Frager back. And I thought he went out and made, listen, he's going to start making shots. He hit a couple for us today, but I need, a guy go get extra possessions for us and rebounds and playing with the swagger. And I thought he got back to that today. So that's huge. That's huge. Obviously we need his production, and for him to go out and play the way he did after having a week and a half of struggles, a lot of that I think was due to the injury. He told me yesterday that was the best he had felt in a practice in a long time since he got injured. So I thought that part of it is physically he's feeling a lot better, and it was good to see that carry over to the floor.
Yeah, he looked really good in Nebraska's win. Bad Penn State team this year. They're obviously really bad, but Nebraska needed a win. And sometimes they didn't play great. Rink had another kind of day where you're going, 0 for 7 or 1 for 7 in the first half.
Yeah, I don't. He's got to get back on track.
He's got to remember that he's Rink master.
If they want to go try to win a natty, get to a Final Four, he's got to get back on track. Yeah, I just said that about Nebraska basketball, okay?
A natty. Well,
hey,
right now they're a 3 seed. They could get to a 2 seed. We'll see. The one game, UCLA probably scares you a little bit after that win over Illinois yesterday. Illinois, by the way, had a 23-point lead over UCLA. UCLA comes back, wins it at the buzzer in overtime. We'll talk hoops. We've got a Big Ten blitz on the way. No guest because it's a quick show. In fact, we had to cancel a Hall of Famer. Erick Strickland, not cancel him because he's going to be back next week. Another Hall of Famer in our mind, Mike Schaefer, will also be on the show next week. But we'll talk Husker hoops and maybe a little Husker football if we can squeeze it in before the end of the show.
We want to talk about good things, so I don't know if we will.
Matt Rule did speak to the media this week in front of spring ball, which is happening as we speak, March 28th, early spring game this year. We could talk a little Husker football, but we'll talk nonetheless. Mike Melby, Tom Stevens coming back after this.
Your weekly rundown of Husker sports. titles.
Oh, they don't have him yet. Look at Tommy Frazier. How many tackles can one man break? Touchdown.
Yet young enough to remember what they had for lunch.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
On Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
Here comes Hoiberg off that board from Garcia, off to Sanford. This would be a career high. Got it! Career high 33. Bryce Sanford rings the bell. Bang! Bang-a-rang!
That's his 8th made 3 in the afternoon, KP. Bryce Sanford, 8 of 14 from beyond the arc, 33 points. He's 1 rebound shy of a double-double.
Welcome back to Husker Rewind. I'm Mike Melby. That's Tom Stevens. And that was Jeff Smith and Kent Pavelka on the call.
No, that was actually
Sanford's...
Jake Muehlheiser. Jake Muehlheiser.
Oh, Jake filled in. You're right.
Jake filled in for Jeff Smith.
But what a game for Price. What a game for Sam Hoiberg. A good right to ship for Nebraska. Things to work on. Going back to, my days with the Stars, they'd get on streaks and things would go sideways and they'd kind of try to get it back. And you'd get this impressive win by, enough that you dominated a team, but there was still so many things you could have done better. And I thought that's what yesterday was for the team as a whole. Spectacular performance from Price. And you brought this question up. I'm going to let you ask it about shooters. But what an absolute brilliant effort from Bryce Sanford. Once again, he goes 8 of 14 from 3, ties Kerry Cohorn's record. I wish national media would learn how to pronounce his name. It's kind of pissing me off, to be honest. It's not Cochran, it's Cohorn.
Yeah. By the way, he's shattered his season total. I think Kerry had the season total of 89.
Yep. He's at 98.
Price is at 98.
With 4 games to go.
Plus, at least 2. I'm guessing probably 2 games in the Big Ten tournament and then 2 games in the NCAA tournament.
I'm going to say 3 games in the Big Ten tournament and 6 games in the
there you
Big
go.
Dance, so.
So he'll have 1 million, by my calculations, 1 million threes by the end of the season. But
the math works.
I was going to ask the question because we've talked about it, and when we said it at the start of the year, and he was playing so well, and he was approaching Kerry Cohorn's record, who we both know and love.
He was always he's one of literally my number 1 or number 2 guy of all time.
We started comparing him to great shooters, and I think I've asked Bo a couple of times, is he in Pike's neighborhood? And at that time, I think he said no. Pike's a better athlete, which he is, and he's got the quick release. But that's why he reminds me of Pike, because he has that quick release and maybe even quicker. Plus, he's playing in an offense. Not that Danny D didn't like to go up and down. He does and did. But Hoiberg's offense is really dedicated to getting him the ball early in transition. I think I saw a stat a couple of weeks ago. He's 31% shooting threes, in period, in the half court from 3.
Yep.
31%. If he's not on the break. In transition, he's like 40. I mean,
overall, he's 41, so it's a little bit higher than 40.
Okay, so 40 plus, 45, whatever it is, 40. But he's really good in transition, and that's Hoiberg knowing what he has and knowing how to use it.
Well, and the flip side is, how do you get him in a half-court set to be more in a transition type 3, and it's the way he cuts. It's the motion that Bryce Sanford uses to
constantly
get open.
running.
And it was funny. So I'm sorry, I'm going to throw it personal in there just because my new fiance and I were watching the game yesterday, and same Tracy, we finally got engaged. But
congratulations, by the way. That's
you.
So cool, because you guys have been dating for a while.
Yeah,
it's time.
Coming up on 10 years, and it was kind of fun. Made the ring myself. Long story.
Yeah.
But we're talking about how Bryce Sanford, I go, oh, it's so frustrating. Did you see that? She goes, what? And she goes, oh my God, they just grabbed 21. I go, that's what yes. And
they grab everybody.
I said,
if you allow, and Hoiberg has been very vocal in press conferences. Yeah. Hey, we can't be the offense we want to be if you allow teams to do that, which is illegal.
Yeah. And I sat there and I'm like, she goes, they can do that. And I go, if the refs let them, yeah. Like they don't grab him and hold him. It's just a quick little tug to
drew 4 fouls.
To slow him down.
He drew 4 fouls yesterday.
Yeah, and so finally, I mean, Fred's complaining, and that's the other thing too. When you have Keisei Tominaga, he's not going to get those calls because of the way he acts. I'm dead serious. Keisei, I love Keisei's awesome. But I hated the way he.
This
reacted.
is the day and age of college basketball where guys have more eligibility. So if he has more, I'm welcoming him back.
Yeah,
I'll take him back in a heartbeat.
But the way, I mean, Price buries a 3 and it's a huge 3, momentum swing, whatever it is, and he just runs back and plays defense and blocks the shot on the next defensive possession. I mean,
is he the greatest shooter that you've ever seen in your lifetime? Would you take him or Pike?
That played Nebraska basketball. I was going to say I'm going to take Steph Curry if I have a choice.
No, I'm not comparing him to Steph Curry.
But if you're talking Nebraska
Bird.
basketball, I'll tell you right now, I need another year. Okay. So no matter what NIL deal needs to get hammered out, let's make sure that happens. But I am so impressed, and it's more of his demeanor. I don't know, like Pike absolutely love the way he played the game. I don't know. It's to me, it's one of the best debates that we may ever have about Nebraska basketball. Who's a better shooter after Price gets done?
If you're talking about all around game and athleticism, I'm taking Pike every day of the week. And he played 9 years 9 or 10 years, whatever it was in the NBA. But I think Price is going to play in the NBA and he's going to get bigger and stronger. And I think he's going to be, what I'm really surprised is I thought Nebraska was just getting a shooter. He is so good driving. He's really good.
So you said I'd take Pike because he's such a better athlete and has so much more to his game.
Yeah.
Look at what Price does.
Yeah.
When they went on an 11-0 run.
But Pike could jump out of the gym. He wouldn't dunk contests.
I get it. But at the end of an 11-0 run yesterday, after being up by 28, okay, and all of it, or 29, it was 28, and then all of a sudden it was 17. Who drove to the hoop on a ball fake and made it kind of a ridiculous layup? Bryce Sanford.
Yep.
I'm just saying, he's got more to his game than launching threes.
I get it. And he has to because teams overplay him so much that the back cuts are there. And I like the fact that we saw more driving. We see it from Sam all the time. We need to see more of it from Jamarcus. We saw a couple layups at the rim. Fred is saying that. He said it a couple of times. They're challenging us to put it on the floor, the dribble.
Yeah.
And Nebraska needs to dribble more, a little more Hoiberg and all the guys.
The funny thing is when you sit there and watch Nebraska's offense, to me, the best offense is the ball never hits the floor. Guys simply move and get the ball, and with cuts and everything else, they get open. There are possessions that Nebraska basketball currently will throw 7 to 9 passes without anyone dribbling, and the offense looks as brilliant and as carefree and as flowing as anything you'd ever want to watch. That's why guys like Mike DeCourcy and all the national pundits are like, oh my goodness.
It's my favorite team to watch.
Have you watched Nebraska's offense?
That being said, though, because teams overplay Nebraska so much, the dribble drive is there. And that's what Hoiberg takes advantage of. This is Hoiberg on shooting the ball. Obviously, Price had a career night, but this is on Nebraska shooting.
Yeah, I thought our flow was good. We talk a lot about playing within the flow of the possession, whether it's rink at the elbow or rink at the top of the floor and then cut off him. For the most part, I thought we took a step in the right direction in that today, but we made our open shots today as well. And, we had not been shooting the ball very well the previous couple games. So to be able to take the lid off, hopefully that's a confidence builder for these guys.
All right, let's get to break. Very short show tonight. Husker baseball wins 10-1 over 16th ranked Florida State. That's why we're on the air right now. We got on the air about 6:30 tonight. So a very short show. We would have had the guests, Erick Strickland, the Hall of Famer. We'll have him next week. We'll have Mike Schaefer on as well next week. But we'll talk a little Husker football in the final segment. But still celebrating the basketball win, softball playing well, baseball playing well.
Women's basketball win, too, today.
I think that's one of the reasons we call it Husker Rewind.
Yeah.
We knew that would happen on Sundays, and Sundays where it kind of culminates. And that's why we call the show Husker Rewind. Mike Melby, Tom Stevens. Back with our final segment already after this.
Recap of Husker sports.
Jones runs behind a blocker, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 15. He's gone. Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Husker Rewind with Mike Melby and Tom Stevens on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
Tries to slow him down. Puck marks up behind the net. And it's Werenski. Now Jack Hughes puts it around the corner. United States with numbers. Watch across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
USA hockey gold medal winners in the Olympics for the first time in 46 years. I remember sitting on the floor in my parents' house at 2112 or something, Thunderbrook Drive in DeSoto, Texas, and legs crossed Indian style, 3 feet in front of the TV when the miracle on ice happened. I still to this day remember watching it. I remember Al Michaels saying, do you believe in miracles? The golden goal, I like that. That was a decent call on what was a horrible play-by-play call. I get it. You're on TV. Let the video talk. But 3-on-3 to end the gold medal game to me is a bunch of BS.
Would you rather have it the way they do it, the Lincoln Stars do it with the
no shootout?
Shootout.
If you're talking for a bronze or a silver and gold, to me in the Olympics, I don't care what TV
Keep
wants.
playing until somebody wins.
You're 5-on-5, just like the NHL in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't like the 3-on-3.
If you get 17 overtimes, guess what? You get 17 overtimes in the longest game in the history of the. I don't care. That's the way it should be settled. The way it ended today for the U.S., awesome. By the way, the three of the 4 best players in the world today were on the ice for Canada when the U.S. scored the goal. Just saying.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
But nothing was better than 1980 and the U.S. beating Russia. Well, by the way, the Soviet Union at that time.
And the best part is that wasn't for the gold.
No, and that's the weird thing is you felt like you had won the gold, and now you have to play Sweden, who's really good, and you're probably not going to be favored in that, especially since you just have this big high. So it would be easy to just say, you know what, we beat Russia, we beat the Soviet Union, good enough. Then have to come back and beat Sweden. Beating Canada, it's like beating your neighbor Bob, just down the road. I mean,
by the way, Bob's won like 5 Olympic gold medals
since
the last time you did. But just saying.
I know, but it's not because we used to love Canada more than we do now. Now we kind of fight with them.
The captain on the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, Pat Johnson, his son Erick played in Lincoln. He was actually our keynote speaker at one of our year-end banquets. So it was really cool. He brought the gold medal, got to hold it, put it around my neck. Tried to get away with it, wound up in jail for a couple of days afterwards. It was a long story anyway. No, but anyway, it's congrats. That was unbelievable.
Cool. Really cool.
Gold for the U.S. and men's hockey for the first time in 46 years.
We got to talk about this before we take off. Former special teams coordinator Mike Eckler has broken his silence on why he left Nebraska for USC. Says he wanted to coach linebackers, which we knew, but also be the special teams coach. But he kind of threw, not Rule under the bus, but he did say that Matt Rule never came to special teams meetings. The new special teams coach is obviously Brett Maher, who will coach special teams along with Nick Humphrey. Now, Nick Humphrey coached with Mike Eckler at Tennessee, and Eckler brought his system to Nebraska, the Tennessee system that Mike Eckler has been coaching for a long time. And Rule's theory is that the system is really what won games and not so much the coach. That he does credit Eckler as having a great system, and Humphrey studied it, so now he can teach it to the rest of the guys along with Brett Maher. Do you buy any of that?
No, not one word of it. I like Brett Maher. I think he's one of the greatest kickers. I think he's a great human being. I have no clue if he's going to be a good special teams coach or not. This Humphreys guy, no clue, don't care. All I know is from what I read verbatim in black and white with a little bit of in between the lines is Mike Eckler had no interest at all, even halfway through last year, in being around Matt Rule much longer than he had to be.
Well, in fairness, this is the 11th gig in college football for Mike Eckler. He leaves almost every 2 years. He leaves for a new gig. In fact, this is his second stint at USC. He coached under Kiffin the first time in 2013.
But he was given a contract that was like, he would have been the highest paid special teams coach in America by Rule.
And Rule could have kept him.
You know what? I'm good.
Rule could have kept him by saying, you're the linebackers coach as well.
And
I think he could.
Rob Dvorak is out, which, I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more on the Eckler side on this one. I think he's in a much better place for him. We'll see what happens when spring ball comes and the fall comes, and whether it's 3-9 or 9-3 or somewhere in between. But yeah, I thought it was very telling. I have not gotten through it all, but I did buy. I want to ask you this: have you started to read the what is it, Cowboy Chronicles, the Bill Moose book?
No,
I have it purchased. I've gotten to the Nebraska chapter, and the last sentence that I read was his agent calling him the day before some game that Washington State was playing. And it's at the pep rally the night before, wherever the bar is that everybody was hanging out.
Right.
And his agent goes, "Congratulations, you're the new AD at Nebraska." And that's where I stopped. I heard a little bit about how it was obvious that Hank Bounds, not Ronnie Green, carried the hammer, even though it seemed like Ronnie Green was the guy that really did. But yeah, so far, very interesting. I've caught bits and excerpts from other people.
Some of the excerpts, he didn't love the idea of hiring Scott Frost. After interviewing him, he felt he was very immature. Wow. that's news. Here's the deal. He had no choice. In fact, we all would have hired Scott Frost. He was the hire. And then you see his teams play. The fact that I thought the biggest indictment of Scott Frost is that he brought all of his coaches from UCF in a league with great coaches. It's like, a junior high PE teacher coaching against Tom Osborne. It's not going to work. It's not going to, you're just not going to succeed. And that was part of the immaturity. He also said that he wanted to hire Dana Holgerson and not Fred Hoiberg, but he wasn't allowed to do that.
You mean not Scott Frost?
No, Bill Moose. Bill Moose.
Well, no, you said we wanted to hire Dana Holgerson, not Fred Hoiberg.
Not Dana Holgerson. Did I say Dana?
Yeah, you said Dana Holgerson.
Dana, Oregon coach. Sorry. He wanted to hire Dana Altman.
Oh no, okay. Yeah,
he wanted to hire Dana. Okay. Sorry, Holgerson.
No, I didn't.
He wanted to hire Dana Altman.
I did see that as well. Yeah. And then your illustrious current governor stepped in the way and said, no.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he did because obviously Hoiberg's worked out. The first couple of years were not good.
Granted, but you and I even talked about hopefully getting Altman back here someday, even though he, was a traitor and went to Creighton for a while and all that stuff. But
I don't think Altman would have taken the gig. From the people I talked to, he wouldn't have taken the gig anyway.
Regardless,
that he thought the challenges at Nebraska.
How big is your ego that you really truly think as a regent that you can step in and tell the athletic director what they can or cannot do as an individual?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we already know that how big the ego is because we're living with it every day. But
I don't think Bill Moose was a bad athletic director. I think his hands were tied. He had to hire a coach that he didn't necessarily like. I believe him when he said, this guy's immature. I don't think he probably subconsciously thought this ain't going to work, but I have to hire him. Tom Osborne has endorsed him. The whole state of Nebraska has endorsed this guy. I thought that Frost would work. I thought he was going to be great.
I hoped he would.
He was terrible.
Yeah. I hoped he would. I hoped the arrogance that I saw in the opening press conference wasn't going to be what his tenure was going to be like, where he walked into every room thinking he was the smartest guy when in reality he was the dumbest guy in the room, but his ego wouldn't let him recognize that fact. And ultimately that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's at UCF with a losing record in his first year there. And we'll see what he does. Nebraska football is in a quagmire of who knows what right now. Did they win in the portal? Some say they won in the portal. Some say they didn't. Some say they should have got a running back. Evidently, Jamal Rule has been literally like the most impressive running back so far.
Yeah. I actually think a lot of this comes down to money. Yeah, we would love to have this guy and that guy, and I'd like to have a brand new car, but I don't have $40,000 to buy that new car.
Dana Holgerson's comment about, hey, you know what? If we just start bringing more guys in, we got to start getting rid of guys.
Right.
I liked his answer.
And I like Mekhi Nelson. I think he played pretty well in the bowl game. Is he Emmett Johnson? Probably not. So we'll say Isaiah Mosey. I think there's some potential there. Jamal Rule, the kid, the young freshman, he might be good as well. You got to spend your money wisely in this day and age. And Matt Rule says, there are $50 million rosters, and we're not one of them. So we're
Sounds
leaving.
Like an excuse to me, but whatever.
We'll come back next week and give more excuses as to why.
No, I won't. I'll call the excuses out.
We're leaving. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Save big money on your rough electrical project at Menards. Zero Wire is an American